In the grand court of the Mughal Emperor Akbar, a proclamation was announced. The ruler declared, "The person who proves to be the most honest shall receive a reward from the royal treasury." This declaration stirred excitement among the courtiers, each eager to present their testament of honesty. Akbar turned to Birbal, his trusted advisor, and spoke, "Birbal, I entrust you with the task of determining who among us is the most honest." With a gentle smile, Birbal replied, "Majesty, grant me a day, and I shall devise a test for honesty myself." The following day, Birbal made his way to the bustling city market. With a loud voice, he announced, "The great Emperor Akbar has decreed that anyone who deposits their most valuable possession into the royal treasury shall receive 10 times its worth as a reward." Upon hearing this, merchants, farmers, and townspeople flocked to the palace with their prized possessions. The first to arrive was Seth Herodis, a wealthy but cunning merchant. He handed Birbal a hefty sack, claiming, "This contains gold coins. I am a generous man indeed." Birbal smiled knowingly and asked for the sack to be opened. Inside, there lay tarnished metal figurines and counterfeit coins. Without a word, Birbal had Seth Herodis's name noted down. Next came Ramu, a humble farmer bearing a simple wooden box. Birbal inquired, "Ramu, what do you carry?" Ramu humbly replied, "Master, I have nothing more than a silver ring gifted by my mother. It is dear to me. If it returns, well and good, but to serve by your side is reward enough." Birbal accepted the ring and had Ramu's name recorded. The following day in court, Birbal summoned both individuals. Turning to Akbar, Birbal declared, "Your Majesty, between these two men, one supplemented his greed with deceit, and the other presented his most treasured possession with sincerity." Akbar asked, "How did you come to know?" Birbal explained, "Seth Herodis offered a meager portion from his riches, led by greed, yet claiming generosity, whereas Ramu, the farmer, gave a ring of sentimental and true value gifted by his mother. This is genuine honesty." Pleased, Akbar addressed Ramu, "Your honesty deserves great respect. You shall receive 5 acres of land and 100 gold coins as a reward." He then turned to Seth Herodis, "Those who deceive others only deceive themselves. Your donation is rejected." Moral: honesty is not a pretense, but a sentiment. One who gives wholeheartedly is the richest of all. In the bustling town of Alafistan, sprawled within the ancient tales of Alif Layla, lived a quirky young merchant named Karim. His claim to fame? A tiny, wobbly shop brimming with peculiar trinkets and dusty books that no one ever seemed interested in, until one fateful, irony-laden day. Karim was daydreaming about riches and a commoner's version of extravagant feasts when his rather peculiar customer, Madame Zora, wobbled in with her presumed luxury, a wooden lamp that resembled, well, a used teapot. Her ferocious haggling skills could rival a seasoned diplomat's negotiations. "I'll take it off your hands for a pittance," she declared, waving a meager coin like she was sealing an irresistible deal with a genie. Karim knew instinctively to indulge the persistent, albeit deluded, madam. He handed over the lamp, earning that lone coin, and quite reluctantly, her unsolicited fortune reading, which she promised would unravel the secrets of his tragic singlehood. After Madame Zora left, Karim found himself curiously inspecting the odd lamp. The vintage wood, chipped and convoluted, was more likely to house dust bunnies than a magical being. However, in the spirit of optimism, or boredom, Karim polished the lamp with his rag conveniently named Hopeful Hank. Suddenly, the lamp belched out a swirling, absurdly theatrical smoke which assembled into an earthy-toned genie with a slightly sarcastic aura. "Congratulations, mortal! You found the genie of background noise," the genie declared, dramatically flailing what seemed to be his attempted hands. "Background noise," Karim echoed, astounded yet not entirely surprised at his ongoing parade of unusual experiences. "Yes, I grant you wishes, with a twist." Your every wish comes true, but with unavoidable creatures of habit kind of commentary. Annoying? Perhaps. Profitable? Definitely. Kareem pondered the eccentric promise. Visions of endless babbling narrators echoing his every action didn't seem much better than living a tranquil, gossip-free life. Yet curiosity won over. I wish to be the richest in Alafistan, he blurted, embracing adventurous whims and the promise of endless anecdotes. In a blink, coins captivated him, shimmering around his shop. Of course, the subsequent constant narration didn't go unnoticed, describing every blink, breathe, and sometimes croak. Will Kareem manage this wish, or find himself tangled in chatter? A mysterious voice chimed in, capturing the spirit of Aleph Layla itself. The town buzzed with Kareem's newfound wealth, each citizen entranced by this strange twist in fate, while Kareem learned to dance in rhythm with the never-ending swirl of narratives around him. And thus continues the tales of Aleph Layla, where improbable adventure sparks humor and delight, reminding us all that sometimes even background noise can spice up the story of life.
Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by whispering woods and sprawling fields, there lived a kind-hearted traveler named Elias. Elias had journeyed far and wide, discovering new places and meeting various people. One bright morning, Elias arrived in the village, weary from his journey. The village was bustling with activity, and the aroma of fresh bread wafted through the air. Seeing a group of villagers talking animatedly, Elias approached them with a welcoming smile. "Hello, good people," Elias greeted warmly. "Could anyone spare a little bread for a weary traveler who has journeyed long and hard?" The villagers exchanged glances and whispered among themselves before one stepped forward. "I'm sorry, sir, but we've had a poor harvest and there's barely enough for us," he explained apologetically. Understanding their plight, Elias nodded sympathetically. "Thank you for your honesty," he said and walked away, hoping to find something to eat elsewhere. A little while later, Elias came across an elderly woman sitting alone by a fountain. She appeared frail and forlorn, clutching a small piece of bread. "Pardon the interruption," Elias said gently, "but I couldn't help but notice you seem troubled. Is everything all right?" The woman sighed heavily. Stranger, it is a hard world for those with little. The harvest was poor, and my grandchildren are hungry. This bread is all I have left to share among them," she replied. Moved by her plight, Elias felt a pang of compassion. He reached into his travel bag and pulled out a hidden package. "Here," he said, offering the woman a bundle wrapped in cloth. "Take this. It's all the food I have left from my journey. Share it with your family." The elderly woman's eyes widened with gratitude as she accepted Elias's gift. "Oh, bless you, kind sir. You have saved us," she exclaimed, tears brimming in her eyes. As Elias continued through the village, he saw smiles spreading across the faces of the villagers who had witnessed his act of generosity. And as he left the village, Elias knew he had left something far more valuable than he ever could have imagined. The news of his act spread, teaching the villagers that kindness and generosity have the power to change lives, even in the darkest times. And so, Elias journeyed on, with a lighter heart and the hope that his small act of kindness would ripple through the world, as the villagers learned that sharing what little you have can bring immense joy and inspire others to do the same.
Once upon a time, in a dense forest, lived a delightful bunny named Bunny. She was gentle, cheerful, and loved playing with flowers, chatting with leaves, and helping every creature in the forest. Es war einmal in einem dichten Wald, lebte ein entzückender Hase namens Bunny. Sie war sanft, fröhlich und liebte es, mit Blumen zu spielen, mit Blättern zu plaudern und jedem Geschöpf im Wald zu helfen. One day, Bunny came across an injured crow who had fallen from a tree. With great care, Bunny treated his wounds and provided him with food. Eines Tages traf Bunny auf einen verletzten Raben, der von einem Baum gefallen war. Mit großer Sorgfalt behandelte Bunny seine Wunden und gab ihm Futter. You've saved my life, said the crow. Now, I want to be your best friend. Bunny smiled and said, Friendship is the greatest gift. Let's meet and play every day.
Du hast mein Leben gerettet, sagte der Rabe. Jetzt möchte ich dein bester Freund sein. Bunny lächelte und sagte, Freundschaft ist das größte Geschenk. Lass uns jeden Tag treffen und spielen.
From that day onwards, the two friends roamed, played, and supported each other daily.
Von diesem Tag an streiften die beiden Freunde täglich umher, spielten und unterstützten sich gegenseitig.
One day, a cunning fox spotted Bunny alone and thought, she will make a delicious meal. Approaching Bunny, the fox said, Oh dear Bunny, let me take you to a beautiful place filled with many carrots.
Eines Tages entdeckte ein listiger Fuchs Bunny allein und dachte, sie wird eine köstliche Mahlzeit. Als er sich Bunny näherte, sagte der Fuchs, Oh, lieber Hase, lass mich dich an einen schönen Ort bringen, der voller Karotten ist.
In her innocence, Bunny agreed. But, as luck would have it, the crow perched on a tree nearby overheard everything.
In ihrer Unschuld stimmte Bunny zu. Doch das Glück wollte es, dass der Rabe auf einem nahegelegenen Baum alles mit anhörte.
Flying swiftly, the crow called out, Bunny, don't go. This fox is deceptive. Frightened, Bunny asked the fox, Is it true?
Schnell fliegend rief der Rabe, Bunny, geh nicht. Dieser Fuchs ist betrügerisch. Erschrocken fragte Bunny den Fuchs, Ist das wahr?
With a hiss, the fox snarled, Yes, and now you can't escape. As the fox approached Bunny, the crow pecked her eyes and squawked loudly, summoning all the animals in the forest.
Mit einem Zischen fletschte der Fuchs die Zähne und schnurrte, Ja, und jetzt kannst du nicht entkommen. Als der Fuchs sich Bunny näherte, pickte der Rabe ihr in die Augen und krächzte laut, alle Tiere im Wald zu rufen.
All the creatures gathered, and the fox fled in fear. Bunny clung to the crow in gratitude and said, You've saved my life again.
Alle Geschöpfe versammelten sich, und der Fuchs floh aus Angst. Bunny klammerte sich dankbar an den Raben und sagte, Du hast mein Leben wieder gerettet.
The crow smiled. Friends always stand by each other in times of trouble. Moral of the story, a true friend is one who helps in times of need. Never trust the words of strangers.
Der Rabe lächelte, Freunde stehen in schwierigen Zeiten immer füreinander ein. Moral der Geschichte, ein wahrer Freund ist der, der in Not hilft. Vertraue niemals den Worten von Fremden.
In the charming neighborhood of Santosh Nagar resided a school that was home to two remarkable students, Rahul and Ajay. These two lads shared the same classroom, yet their personalities were as different as chalk and cheese. Rahul was the one blessed with a sharp intellect, but alas, his skills came bundled with a rather pompous attitude. He had the uncanny knack of treating others as though they were mere mortals plodding in the shadow of his genius, and poor Ajay bore the brunt of Rahul's mockery more often than not. Ajay, on the other hand, was your average student, not particularly extraordinary in academics, but equipped with a modest demeanor and a robust work ethic. His evenings were often spent burning the midnight oil, as he labored through his studies with dogged determination, his humility as evident as Rahul's arrogance. Then came the day of reckoning, the school exams. Rahul, feeling rather invincible, breezed through with minimal preparation, dismissing the whole lot as child's play. Meanwhile, Ajay, in his normal unobtrusive style, had been slogging away through thick and thin for a month, with books as his constant companion. The results were declared, and what a revelation they were! Ajay had astonished everyone, claiming the top spot in the class, while Rahul had to settle for second place. Rahul's world was shattered. Packing fury and disbelief in spades, he confronted Ajay, declaring, How could you possibly outrank me? You can't even hold a candle to my brilliance. Ajay, unfazed and smiling, replied, I may not be as bright as you, Rahul, but through sheer hard work and unwavering perseverance, I managed to succeed. At that moment, their teacher sauntered in, having overheard the exchange, and pontificated, "Children, true talent is incomplete without the backing of hard work and humility. Ajay has demonstrated that with diligent effort and dedication, any height can be achieved." Rahul was struck by the pearl of wisdom, feeling the weight of his folly. He apologized to Ajay, seeking redemption. From that day forth, the rivals became fast friends, united in their mutual quest for academic excellence. Moral of the story: it's not arrogance, but hard work and humility that pave the path to true success.
संतोष नगर के एक स्कूल में राहुल और अजय नाम के दो छात्र पढ़ते थे। दोनों एक ही कक्षा में थे। राहुल पढ़ाई में तेज था, लेकिन उसमें घमंड आ गया था। वो दूसरों को तुच्छ समझता और अक्सर अजय का मजाक उड़ाता। अजय पढ़ाई में औसत था, लेकिन बहुत मेहनती और विनम्र स्वभाव का था। वो हर किसी की मदद करता और हमेशा सीखने की कोशिश करता। एक दिन स्कूल में परीक्षा हुई। राहुल ने परीक्षा तो आसानी से दी, लेकिन उसने तैयारी हल्के में ली थी। अजय ने पूरे महीने जमकर मेहनत की थी, देर रात तक पढ़ाई की, संदेह पूछे और अभ्यास किया। जब परिणाम आया तो सब चौंक गए। अजय की कक्षा में पहली रैंक आई और राहुल दूसरे स्थान पर चला गया। राहुल को बहुत गुस्सा आया। उसने अजय से कहा, "तू मुझसे आगे कैसे निकल गया? तू तो मेरा मुकाबला भी नहीं कर सकता।" अजय ने मुस्कुराकर कहा, "मैं जानता हूँ कि मैं तुम जितना तेज नहीं हूँ, लेकिन मैंने मेहनत और लगन से पढ़ाई की। शायद यही कारण है कि मैं सफल हो पाया।" शिक्षक भी वहां आ गए और बोले, "बच्चों, प्रतिभा तब तक अधूरी होती है जब तक उसके साथ मेहनत और विनम्रता न हो।" अजय ने ये साबित कर दिया है कि सच्ची लगन और मेहनत से कोई भी ऊंचाई हासिल की जा सकती है। राहुल को अपनी गलती का एहसास हुआ और उसने अजय से माफी मांगी। दोनों अच्छे दोस्त बन गए और एक दूसरे की मदद करने लगे। सीख, मॉरल: घमंड नहीं, मेहनत और विनम्रता ही सच्ची सफलता की कुंजी है।
एक छोटे से गांव में रामलाल और उनकी पत्नी सावित्री अपने दो बच्चों रवि और मीना के साथ रहते थे। रामलाल एक मेहनती किसान थे जो अपने खेतों में दिन रात मेहनत करते। सावित्री घर संभालती और बच्चों को अच्छे संस्कार सिखाती। उनका परिवार साधारण था, लेकिन प्यार और एकजुटता में बहुत अमीर। एक साल गांव में भयंकर सूखा पड़ा। फसलें सूख गईं और रामलाल के पास आय का कोई साधन नहीं बचा। परिवार के सामने भोजन की कमी होने लगी। रवि और मीना, जो अब किशोरावस्था में थे, अपने माता पिता की चिंता देखकर परेशान थे। एक दिन रवि ने अपने दोस्तों से सुना कि शहर में एक व्यापारी मजदूरों को काम दे रहा है। वह उत्साहित होकर घर आया और बोला, "पिताजी, मैं शहर जाकर काम करूंगा। कुछ पैसे कमा लूंगा ताकि हमारा परिवार भूखा न रहे।" मीना ने भी कहा, "मैं भी गांव में कुछ काम ढूंढूंगी, जैसे सिलाई या ट्यूशन, ताकि मैं भी मदद कर सकूं।" रामलाल और सावित्री ने बच्चों की बात सुनी, लेकिन उनका दिल भर आया। रामलाल बोले, "बेटा, तुम्हारी उम्र पढ़ने लिखने की है। हम किसी तरह गुजारा कर लेंगे, लेकिन तुम्हारा भविष्य नहीं छिनने देंगे।" सावित्री ने कहा, "हमारा परिवार मुश्किलों में भी एक साथ रहेगा। हम सब मिलकर इस संकट का सामना करेंगे।" परिवार ने मिलकर एक योजना बनाई। रामलाल ने गांव के अन्य किसानों के साथ मिलकर एक छोटा सा सहकारी समूह बनाया, जिसमें सभी ने अपने संसाधनों को साझा किया। सावित्री ने गांव की महिलाओं के साथ मिलकर मिट्टी के बर्तन और हस्तशिल्प बनाना शुरू किया, जिसे पास के बाजार में बेचा जाता। रवि और मीना ने स्कूल के बाद गांव के बच्चों को पढ़ाना शुरू किया और इसके बदले में कुछ अनाज या सब्जियां मिलने लगी। धीरे धीरे परिवार की मेहनत रंग लाई। सूखे के बावजूद उन्होंने न केवल अपने लिए पर्याप्त भोजन जुटाया, बल्कि गांव के अन्य परिवारों की भी मदद की। गांव वाले उनके एकजुटता और मेहनत की तारीफ करने लगे। नैतिक मूल्य: एकता में बल। परिवार की एकजुटता और आपसी सहयोग से कोई भी मुश्किल आसान हो सकती है। मेहनत और ईमानदारी: कठिन परिस्थितियों में भी मेहनत और ईमानदारी से काम करने से सफलता मिलती है। सकारात्मक सोच मुश्किलों को अवसर में बदलने की सोच परिवार और समाज को मजबूत बनाती है। यह कहानी सिखाती है कि प्यार, विश्वास और एकजुटता के साथ कोई भी परिवार किसी भी संकट से उबर सकता है।
In the city of Rajagaha lived venerable Saraputra, renowned for his wisdom and insight. One day, as he walked through the market, Saraputra saw a beggar, ragged and tired, sitting at the corner of a busy street. Drawn by compassion, Saraputra approached him, offering a loaf of bread. The beggar looked at him with a smile and said, "Why, sir, though I appreciate your generosity, there is something greater than food that nourishes my spirit. Would you sit with me and listen for a while?" Intrigued, Venerable Saraputra sat beside the beggar, curious to learn what could be greater. The beggar spoke, "Each day I sit here and observe the multitude that passes by. I see their faces, worn by worry, seeking happiness in things outside themselves. Yet happiness lies within. It's not the possessions that bring joy, but the peace in one's heart." Contemplating the beggar's words, Saraputra realized that wisdom can manifest in the most unexpected forms, and that everyone, regardless of their status, has something valuable to teach. Though he had learned from revered teachers, this beggar taught a profound truth, that the external world cannot provide what lies within the serenity of one's heart. With newfound awareness, Saraputra thanked the beggar, saying, "You have shared the truest form of wealth with me today, and I shall cherish it alongside all that I've learned." This encounter remained with Saraputra, reminding him forever that wisdom transcends appearances and conditions. The Buddhist principle embodied here is that true happiness is found within and is not contingent on external circumstances. Pabu, the brave little pup in the heart of the vast and wild jungle of Tigran, where fierce creatures roamed and the nights echoed with the roars and cries of predators. A small puppy named Pabu was left alone. He was no bigger than a coconut, with soft golden fur and curious eyes that held more courage than most full-grown beasts. Pabu had been separated from his family during a storm. A heavy tree had fallen, scaring the pack and forcing them to flee. When the storm cleared, little Pabu was alone, trembling, hungry, and surrounded by the scent of danger. But Pabu wasn't just any pup. He had something special, a brave heart and a clever mind. The first threat, the panther the first to find Pabu, was Zaru, the black panther, whose yellow eyes gleamed like moonlight. Zaru crouched low, ready to pounce. Pabu, instead of running, wagged his tail and barked softly. He rolled over and showed his belly, a sign of trust. Zaru blinked. No one had ever greeted him like this. "You're not scared of me?" Zaru was taken aback, but curious. Pabu guided Zaru to a patch of bushes where a herd of deer often grazed at dusk. Zaru let him go unharmed, and from then on, he watched over the little pup from the shadows. The snake in the tree one hot afternoon, Pabu dozed under a fig tree. Above him slithered Nira, the jungle's most venomous cobra. She was silent, deadly, and hated noise. Pabu sneezed. Hiss! Nira lowered her hood, ready to strike. But Pabu spoke quickly. The snake paused. The pack of hyenas. The most dangerous moment came when a pack of hyenas surrounded him one night. Their leader, a scar-faced brute named Vark, snarled. Pabu didn't run. He stood tall and barked. The hyenas backed off. Vark growled, "You're just a pup." The jungle's hero. Over time, the animals of the jungle began to respect Pabu. He helped the birds build nests safe from snakes. He warned rabbits of traps. He guided lost cubs home. He didn't have claws or fangs or poison, but he had something better: heart, wisdom, and kindness. And in a world full of dangerous animals, it was those things that made Pabu the little pup who not only survived, but became a legend.
देवी अहिल्याबाई होलकर की कहानी। जन्म और बचपन। अहिल्याबाई होलकर का जन्म 31 मई 1725 को महाराष्ट्र के अहमदनगर जिले के चौंडी गांव में हुआ था। उनके पिता मनकोजी शिंदे गांव के पाटिल थे। अहिल्या बचपन से ही समझदार, धार्मिक और मेहनती थीं। वो गांव में सबके साथ मिलकर रहती थीं और छोटी उम्र में ही लोगों का दिल जीत लेती थीं। शादी और होलकर परिवार। जब अहिल्या 8 साल की थीं, तब होलकर घराने के सरदार मल्हार राव होलकर ने उनकी बुद्धिमानी और अच्छे स्वभाव को देखा। उन्होंने अहिल्या को अपने बेटे खंडे राव के लिए चुना। 1733 में अहिल्या की शादी खंडे राव से हुई। मल्हार राव ने उन्हें युद्ध कला और राज्य चलाने की कला सिखाई। लेकिन 1754 में खंडे राव युद्ध में मारे गए, जिससे अहिल्या को बहुत दुख हुआ। राज्य की जिम्मेदारी। 1761 में मल्हार राव का भी निधन हो गया। इसके बाद अहिल्याबाई ने होलकर साम्राज्य की कमान संभाली। उन्होंने इंदौर से राज्य चलाया और अपनी सूझबूझ से मराठा साम्राज्य को और मजबूत किया। वे प्रजा की भलाई के लिए हमेशा काम करती थीं। उनके समय में सड़कें, कुएं, धर्मशालाएं और मंदिर बनवाए गए। उन्होंने काशी, गया, सोमनाथ और अयोध्या जैसे तीर्थ स्थानों पर मंदिर बनवाए, जिसके कारण लोग उन्हें पुण्य श्लोक कहने लगे। न्याय और धर्म। अहिल्याबाई बहुत न्यायप्रिय थीं। वे खुद दरबार में बैठकर लोगों की समस्याएं सुनती थीं और उनका हल करती थीं। उनकी निष्पक्षता की कई कहानियां मशहूर हैं। वे साधारण जीवन जीती थीं और धर्म में गहरी आस्था रखती थीं। उन्होंने स्कूल, व्यापार और खेती को बढ़ावा दिया। युद्ध और सुरक्षा। अहिल्याबाई ने युद्ध में भी अपनी काबिलियत दिखाई। उन्होंने होलकर साम्राज्य की रक्षा की और मालवा को समृद्ध बनाया। उनके शासन में प्रजा सुखी और सुरक्षित रही। अंतिम समय और विरासत। 13 अगस्त 1795 को अहिल्याबाई का निधन हो गया, लेकिन उनकी अच्छाई और काम आज भी लोगों को प्रेरित करते हैं। उनके बनवाए मंदिर और संस्थाएं उनकी याद दिलाते हैं। प्रेरणा। अहिल्याबाई की कहानी सिखाती है कि मेहनत, ईमानदारी और प्रजा के लिए समर्पण से कोई भी बड़ा काम कर सकता है। वे एक ऐसी रानी थीं जिन्होंने अपने काम से इतिहास में जगह बनाई।
In the bustling town of Woodland, there lived a squirrel named Nutters who was notorious for his insatiable greed. Nutters had a bushy tail, a gleaming set of whiskers, and a nose for anything glittering or shiny. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves painted the town in shades of amber and gold, Nutters stumbled upon a rare gold acorn beneath the mighty old oak. It sparkled in the sunlight, and Nutters' eyes lit up brighter than a disco ball. "I've hit the jackpot," he squeaked, stashing it away in his cozy little burrow. Unbeknownst to Nutters, news of the golden acorn spread like wildfire through the animal grapevine. Every woodland creature, from the diligent ants to the chatty birds, whispered about Nutters' newfound treasure. The ever-logical Oliver the Owl, who resided in a treehouse laden with books, decided to pay Nutters a visit. "Greetings, Nutters," Oliver hooted thoughtfully. "I hear you've found something special. May I see it?" "Absolutely not," Nutters snapped, clutching the acorn as if it was his life savings. Oliver, never one to be deterred, tilted his head wisely. "You see, wisdom doesn't come from hoarding but from sharing," he advised before flying off into the twilight. Time passed, and as winter's chill gripped Woodland, Nutters found himself alone. No one visited, and no one invited him to festive bonfire nights. His grand prize turned out to be a shiny golden piece with no warmth or companionship. In his solitude, Nutters began to notice something peculiar. The golden acorn was starting to crack. Frantically, he took it to Oliver. "Help me, Oliver," he pleaded. "It's breaking." Oliver examined the acorn. "You must open it, Nutters," he said gently. Trembling, Nutters peeled away the shell. Inside lay a perfect, ordinary acorn with a message: "Happiness grows when shared." Realizing the folly of his ways, Nutters scurried through the forest. He shared the real acorn with everyone, distributing seeds to plant new oak trees, and his heart lightened with each act of generosity. The seasons turned, and as spring flourished, so did Nutters' friendship with the woodland creatures. He learned the valuable lesson that treasures of life are not what glitters, but are found in the warmth of friendship. Nutters became the most beloved squirrel in all of Woodland, not because he had a golden acorn, but because he found out how rich life could truly be when you let go of greed.
कहानी न्याय का दीपक। एक शानदार राजस्थानी राज्य में राजा वीर सिंह रहते थे, जो अपने न्याय के लिए मशहूर थे। उनकी पत्नी रानी सौम्या बहुत समझदार थी और सेनापति विक्रम उनका वफादार साथी था। राज्य में सब कुछ ठीक था, पर एक दिन खबर आई कि राजमहल के खजाने से सोना चोरी हो गया। रात के अंधेरे में एक नकाबपोश चोर खजाने के कमरे में घुस आया। उसने एक सुनहरा हार चुराया और तेजी से भाग गया। सिपाही उसके पीछे दौड़े, पर वो बाजार की भीड़ में गायब हो गया। जमीन पर उसका एक कपड़ा गिर गया, जो उसकी पहली गलती थी। ये तीसरी चोरी थी और राजा चिंतित हो गए। राजा ने रानी सौम्या और सेनापति विक्रम से बात की। रानी ने कहा, शायद इस चोरी के पीछे कोई बड़ा राज है। राजा ने एक प्लान बनाया। उन्होंने खजाने में झूठा सोना रखा। रात को चोर फिर आया, पर इस बार सिपाही तैयार थे। चोर पकड़ा गया। नकाब उतारने पर एक युवक निकला, जिसका नाम अर्जुन था। उसने बताया कि राज्य का मंत्री उसे धोखा देकर चोरी करवा रहा था। राजा ने दरबार में मंत्री को बुलाया। अर्जुन के सबूत और राजा के सवालों से मंत्री का सच खुल गया। उसने राज्य के खजाने को लूटने की साजिश बनाई थी। राजा ने मंत्री को सजा दी और अर्जुन को माफ करके उसकी मदद की। राज्य में खुशी का माहौल बना। लोग नाचगान करने लगे। राजा और रानी ने उत्सव में लोगों के साथ खुशी बांटी। अर्जुन को नई जिंदगी मिली। राजा ने कहा, सच और न्याय हमेशा जीतता है। सीख, न्याय और सच्चाई से बड़ा कुछ नहीं। राजा वीर सिंह के न्याय ने राज्य को एकजुट रखा।
गप्पू एक मोटा सा बंदर था जिसे मिठाइयाँ बहुत पसंद थी। उसका सबसे अच्छा दोस्त था चीकू तोता, जो बहुत समझदार और बातूनी था। दोनों हर दिन गांव की मिठाई की दुकान के पास खड़े होकर जलेबियों को देखते रहते थे। एक दिन गप्पू बोला, चीकू, आज तो मैं जलेबी खाकर ही मानूंगा। चीकू ने समझाया, गप्पू, ऐसे नहीं खाते, पहले हलवाई काका से पूछो। गप्पू बोला, अगर पूछा तो वो मना कर देंगे, मैं चुपके से खा लूंगा। गप्पू ने एक लंबा सा पायजामा पहना और खिसकते खिसकते दुकान के अंदर जाने लगा। चीकू तोता आसमान से निगरानी कर रहा था। जैसे ही गप्पू दुकान में पहुंचा, उसका पैर फिसला और वो सीधे जलेबियों की थाली में गिर पड़ा। अब वो सिर से लेकर पूंछ तक चाशनी में लथपथ था। हलवाई काका ने देखा तो गुस्से से चिल्लाए, अबे ओ बंदर, तू दुकान में मिठाई खाने आया है या नहाने? गप्पू बोला, काका, क्या बताऊं, ये मिठाई वाली स्विमिंग पूल बहुत मजेदार है। इतना सुनते ही चीकू और काका हंसने लगे। उसी समय चालाक बिल्लू बिल्ली आई और चुपचाप सारी जलेबियां चुराकर भाग गई। जब सबने देखा तो थाली खाली थी। चीकू बोला, गप्पू, तू ही खा गया ना? गप्पू बोला, नहीं यार, मैं तो खुद जलेबी बन गया हूँ। आखिर में हलवाई काका ने सबको माफ कर दिया और एक छोटी सी जलेबी पार्टी रखी। गप्पू, चीकू, हलवाई काका और बिल्लू सबने मिलकर जलेबियां खाईं और खूब हंसी मजाक की। सीख, अगर जलेबी खानी हो तो प्यार से मांगो, चोरी करोगे तो खुद जलेबी बन जाओगे।